How's your week? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. Let's do this. We got the charts. Beautiful. All right. So basically, I wanted to hop on and talk about a few things that I think every trader should eventually figure out and come to the realization of, and that is that profitability is directly linked, if not dependent on your self growth and your self knowledge, the knowledge of yourself. The more you understand who you are, the closer you get to profitability. Okay? And I'm going to explain that in a little diagram as best as I can. And so that you can take notes, because I would really like for you to take notes. And here's the thing. We have trader mindset. And I think this is big enough. If it's not big enough, let me know, but I think it is. Trader mindset. We have our avatar mindset. Avatar, I say, because the body we're in, that's not us. That is only an avatar. Okay. So basically we have this trader we want to become, but we're also an avatar. We have a mind that's controlling the body. Now what happens? This guy, he is influenced by society. And society is an external factor of information, an external source of information. So this is external source of information. Okay? The trader mindset, the trader, he is going to obviously suffer from whatever the avatar mindset suffers. Okay? Because this guy, he's a new persona. Think of it as a character that you're creating. If you create a character from an existing one, it's very likely that the new character has certain traits, right? Certain behavior traits. And so this is why trading is difficult. It's not about the chart. It's not about, because the chart is only the chart. There's no more to it but price and time and a few colors if you want to put them on the screen. The idea of trading is one. The science of it is one. The market behavior, the structure, everything, all the technicals, that's it's existent, it's there, and it reaches a certain level, quote unquote, to an end. Like, okay, I know what trading is. What's difficult and never ending is this that we're going to talk about. And that's where people get tired, frustrated. They feel insecure. They feel they're a failure because they don't make the jump, or they don't make the transformation appropriately from the avatar they are into the trader they want to become. Another way of saying it is the avatar they are, they don't they it's not that they don't know or they don't understand to say that somebody is stupid or less smart than somebody else. It's simply because they haven't thought of that. Literally, their mind hadn't thought of the fact that, oh, wait a minute, this me in this world is trying to become someone else to do something that's actually quite difficult, because obviously trading is not as simple either. Like there's a whole science to it, which is what I was saying. That science has an end, but it's not, you don't just wake up and know how to trade. So when people try and they try and they try, if there's a wall, that means if there's a wall between you and the trader you want to become, that means that there is something that you have to change. There's something that you haven't resolved. Okay, the avatar has to work on something in order to break through that wall and get to the trader that is capable. Here it is, the trader mindset that is capable of being profitable. Okay, so basically this is turning profitable, right? So what is it? Like, how do I turn profitable? How can I? And I've believe me, I've been very frustrated um, when I lose balance, because this is not like you turn profitable and you're profitable forever just because you you have to stay profitable and choose to stay profitable, right? And so turning profitable here is choosing to stay profitable, right? That's a challenge. That's a challenge. So now you may be asking yourself, okay, crap, what do I have to figure out? What does my avatar have to do with, what's the work? Well, this is where the work is it starts from your outside source of information. You need to think, where am I getting the external source of information that is influencing my mind, that is making me be who I am? Who am I hanging out with? Where do I work? Who do I talk to? What information am I feeding my brain with? What music do I listen to? I have to write that down. Hold on. I have to write that down. Okay, so who do I talk to? What music do I listen to? Where do I work? Who do I hang out with? What books do I read? You get the point. This is everything that is affecting your avatar. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't just affect you. It's not like, okay, well, I'm just not gonna care, and I'm here. I'm in the world. I'm looking at things. I'm reading. I'm listening to anything that I can come, and it just all affects me. Well, yeah, of course it does, but you have the power to choose how to let it affect you. That's one thing. Number two, you have the choice. You have the autonomy to decide what to utilize, what sort of information to let come in. Sometimes we can't help it. When we're kids, the outside, we can't do anything about it. We didn't necessarily choose consciously what family we were going to be born into, what life we were going to have as a kid. That period of our lives is out of our hands. That makes a big part of who we are, but there comes a time when we can be conscious about that and choose to change certain things. We knew we grew up here. We had a specific family or friends that made us who we are. We learned because we had in our brain a reality that was normal. Now, how can I make it the way I want to? Finally, we've grown out. Finally, we can make the life we wanted. So, how am I going to break away from the time in my life in which I didn't have control over what was coming into my brain, meaning the music, the books, the teachers, the schools, the words that my parents were using or siblings, my friends when they bullied me or not. All that we didn't have control of, now that we do. How can I heal that? How can I resolve whatever energy I have to resolve in order to work on the details that are going to make me a better avatar? Choose wisely the sources of external information I'm going to let affect positively my avatar in order to make the transformation correctly into a trader, a profitable trader mindset. ¿Qué pasa, Damián? Un saludo. Okay, so that was interesting. It's like I've never heard anybody talk about this. When I was trading, I didn't even consider this to exist. It was just like I thought I just had to learn how to trade and read the chart and be good at reading the chart, and that's it. And as I grew, as I made my own personal transformation, I was still ignorant to the fact that as I made 2 steps forward in my personal life, I made a step forward in my trading journey. I'm going to write that here. As I made 2 steps forward on my personal life, I would make 1 step forward in my trading journey. And this is a bit subjective. Like, people can move quicker or faster than others. Some people learn, I guess, faster than others. Some have trouble to so some people need to experience hardcore shit to learn. It's like you can tell somebody, hey, don't walk into this, don't walk into that room because they can potentially hurt you. And some people will be like, what are you talking about? I don't believe you. That's what? And then they have to walk in and get hurt to say, oh yeah, you're right. Some people can listen and say, okay, fine, I won't go into that room, and they'll never get hurt. But you know what? Those people that sometimes, or actually most of the times, can follow instructions, those people are easier to be manipulated. Those people are easier to fall for lies, to be controlled by the media, by government, by their boss. And so there is a specific trait that you need. It's essential to being, I would say, I don't know if to say powerful trader or effective trader, but it's not only just in trading. Like if you want to reach your goals, if you want to really be savage and be successful in levels that most people are not, you really got to do what most people don't do, which is follow fucking instructions. I'm sorry for cursing, but this is like, you cannot go with the flow and the crowd. Yeah, I mean, you have to have that degree of rebel in you, of a bit of a hard-headed, like, not believe everything you're told. Um, be a bit. I don't want to say arrogant because it's a little harsh, but it's a drop of selfishness, if you will. It's a little selfishness. You have to be a little selfish because I say this because I'm very good. I'm a very good person, and unfortunately, people take advantage of that. And if I were just a bit more selfish, maybe I would be a little bit more successful in, I guess, another aspect. But it's weird. It's ironic at the same time because like we live in this world where we have to. It's all energy, and I mean, I know I'm fading away a little from the conversation, but the trait to be a little rebel, you need, and so not listening to instructions, and that's something that's gonna allow you to cancel out the noise. Okay, so here's where I'm gonna write next. There's a specific trait. Be a rebel. Don't follow instructions. I mean, please don't misinterpret this and then go and start like a revolution. You know what I mean? Um, this is in your mind for yourself, not in society. I'm not, and I have to say this because they're probably watching, but I am at no point um, motivating or insinuating anybody to do anything outside of the law. I have to say this because, man, nowadays everybody gets offended. And I was like, oh, but you're telling me to be. No, I'm telling you, you need to be different. You don't need to be a sheep. You need to be different. You need to be authentic. So, authenticity is a better way of saying it, right? This is going to help you cancel out the noise. What happens in trading? You want to ignore what people are saying because here's the thing. I don't know if this happens to you, but when I didn't know what my system was, when I didn't know exactly what I was trading, I would go on TradingView and look at ideas, and I was like, let's see what people are thinking. Let's go and see what people are saying. Oh, people are saying buy gold, sell gold. Man, in the end, the retail loses. 95% of people lose trading. So why would I want to do what 95 people? So if I'm asking people, hey, what are you going to do? Whatever they say, that's probably wrong. Not that they don't know, not that they're not smart. It's because there's more to it. There's like there's this deeper layer of trading where it's like you'd have to be either in a bank or in a big powerful hedge fund to have information before everybody, a lot of money, and really be in a different level of this whole thing, of this whole trading thing. We reach to a point, we have millions. We could have millions. Yes, that's possible. Now, the insider information, the access to manipulate, like, literally the codes that activate the algorithms that pour liquidity into the market, or spoofing, which is, a way of manipulating price. That's a whole other level. And that is something that I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it for the soul, for the mind, for society. You know, it's people that do that, like that are behind the manipulations, and all those bankers that are really robbing money. They eventually they're gonna lose it all. They're not gonna be happy. They're gonna be sick. You know, their other businesses are gonna fail. They're gonna run into lawsuits because they're not. That's not a good energy. So here we are trying to do the best we can in that game, right? In that rigged, controlled game. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. Okay, so powerful trades, be rebel, don't follow instructions, authenticity. That is going to help you cancel the noise and trust yourself. You need to ignore others, not believe in anything but your intuition and your criteria. Now, how do you do that as a trader with an avatar that grew up in a system in which he or she thinks that their value depends on many aspects, but for example, the grades they got in school, how well they were behaved, um, the energy and time input they put, right? They input into work. So in other words, if you're in a company and you work, you give your time and energy and you get money back, right? The more you invest into that company, the more time, the more energy, the more knowledge, the more you are valuable. This is bullshit. This is really the worst like thing that could happen to society and to humanity, is this whole system we live in. But that's what it is, because that's how we were raised in school. You need to do a homework, and if you do it well enough, then you get a good grade. Oh, but if you colored outside the line, oh, poor Bobby, you colored outside the line. I gotta tell your parents you have some issues, like I don't know, you got ADHD or something because you color outside the line. Your kid, he's why don't you go take him to a psychology? Maybe they can give him some pills and he can like, what the fuck, man? Um, which sentence is blocking? That's crazy. What sentence? Oh, sorry, my camera. Cancel the noise. I thought like the FBI was in my video. Okay. So, um so yeah, picture that. Like imagine that. How crazy is that you know why I say that? A teacher told my parents I had ADHD just because I wasn't paying attention in class, because I was too like I needed fucking to go. I wanted energy. I needed to go outside. I'm an active person. I learn with experience. I learn doing things. That's not ADHD. That's some bullshit idea to hook people onto, to make their system believes that, oh my god, I have ADHD. I can't concentrate. What do I need? Yes, doctor, give me what I need. Are you fucking crazy? And um so anyway, my thankfully my mom back then, she didn't buy it. She actually got offended. She's like, "Fuck you! Like, what do you need to tell me what my kid?" It's what it is. Like, but it's sad. A lot of people, a lot of parents, there is not their fault that they fear when a teacher tells them like, "Hey, your kid, there's something wrong with your kid," because they trust the teacher, right? But then the teacher is also this dumbass who grew up and so the whole thing is fucked. Okay, now that's what we have to break out of, and be conscious that within us is everything we need. I'm going to repeat that. Within us is everything we need. All the answers are within us. Oh, you got this, like, you go to the doctor, you got to check yourself, like, look at yourself in the mirror first, close your eyes. How do you feel? Is there a weird feeling that you might be sick? Listen to that. Fine. Don't go buy a story that some YouTube uh, doctor who's got 1 million followers and a blue check mark, and then he's got this weird fake diploma saying like, oh, you got, if you can't do this, then you're suffering from this. You got to buy this pill. All right. Anyway, um, I hope you're keeping up with me. Sometimes I get into these little rabbit holes, whatever you want to call it, but I have to, because it's part of the things that we might not really be conscious that we need to work on. So, the trader we want to become we can't start there. Okay? We have to step back. If you are in this wall, if you are hitting this wall, forget about this for a moment. Forget about this for a moment. And work on your avatar. Okay? If you're hitting the wall, work on your avatar and start from the external sources of information in order to internalize such information so that it doesn't affect you negatively, and so that such sources of information aren't negative. So this, I would say, is one of the most important ones. What music do I listen to? Oh, man, I know this might not be what some people expect. I know some people might not watch this completely. I hope they do, but if they don't, I can't help it. I can't do anything for anybody else. But how do I know when the market is correcting versus reversing during New York sessions? Matthews, I love the off-topic question. I really do. I really do. But I'm going to answer for you real quick. How do I know when the market is correcting versus reversing? Jesus, man, you had to get me off topic. I'll do it real quick. It depends on the phases of the market you're in. The market has consolidation phases, it has a manipulation phase, and then it has a distribution phase of that consolidation. So here's the consolidation, you'll have a manipulation, and then after the manipulation, you'll have a distribution, right? So this is like the general structure of the market. There's more. Obviously, there's algorithms that create different patterns, and you can sort of also anticipate that based on the degree to which you know these algorithms. But just to give you a rule of thumb, you have to ask yourself, has the market manipulated below lows or above highs, right? Has it already taken liquidity? Has it already trapped? Has it already made a reversal? If so, then it's likely that New York will expand. So you have to put New York somewhere in this picture. If New York is, let's say, over here, then it's probably going to reverse because it's within a bigger manipulation phase. If New York is, say, for example, up here, then they're also likely to reverse a little bit because they've already stepped into the distribution that eventually what's going to have is going to have another consolidation and potentially a little retracement. So it depends on what phase of the market you're in. There's also another structure of market phases, which is the buy side, and then there's a sell side. So the market goes down, it goes back up, and it targets previous highs and lows, etc. So if you've already seen price go up, and it's starting to come down, you know your general direction must be bearish. And so depending on the portion of the market in which New York is trading, let's say this is the 50%, you know, the 50% might have a rebound. So if New York is here, then you wait, because this is like a 50-50 shot. It could go down or it could go up. You're in the 50% of a move. So that's not convenient. Whereas if you're up here, you might be able to sell because it's, you know, price already went up a lot. Or vice versa. If price is coming down and New York opens down, then you can buy it because the market already came down sufficient, you know, and maybe it took a few lows. Now, during the session itself, I must say, if New York wants to buy, they're going to sell first. If New York, and any session, if their interest and if the structure is bullish, it is likely that the beginning of a session starts bearish because there has to be a higher low, I'm sorry, of the trend, right? So you got a trend, you obviously have to have higher lows and higher highs. So if New York opens somewhere around here, they're going to want to come down, make a low, and then trade up. So time is key. And that's another detail to the answer of your question. How do I know that time is key? If it is midday, it's likely for it to have a reversal because they've already gone up or down in the AM session between 8 and 12. If it's before 12 and it's not 10 a.m. yet and they're coming down, it's likely they're going to reverse because that means they might want to buy. So they're selling first, they're manipulating price, it's putting pressure price down to fill orders lower, bigger orders, I'm talking millions, banks, institutions, to then buy it. Or vice versa. If they know they want to dump price, they're going to probably manipulate above London's low highs, because that's where the liquidity is and that's where the better price is, and then they're going to dump it. So key points to your question. Number one, where is the New York session in terms of the general structure of price behavior? Is it in the consolidation? Is it in the manipulation? Or is it in the distribution? Number two, wherever it is there a specific model identified? This is from ICT, the market maker buy model or market maker sell model. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's simply said price goes up in on a face of bullishness, and then it flips, it breaks structure, it changes the character of the state in delivery of price, and it starts delivering downward, and that is the sell side model. So where is New York? Is it in a buy model or is it in a sell model? And last, the third point is time. What time is it? Are you looking at New York at 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 7 in the morning? Perfect. That was a quick parenthesis. What music do you listen to? Why is that important? Well, we are 80% water. And I am sure, if you don't know, but I think most you know, water is programmable. And you can change it. You can affect its molecules, its state. You can freeze water. You can melt it and put it back into a liquid. And because we are also energy, right? That water, we're 80% water, but water itself, it's like the molecules and the atoms. And if you go deep, everything is energy, vibration, sound. This is scientifically proven. This is, I'm not talking anything weird. Well, music is vibration. The frequency with which music is produced is affecting you. Whether you think, believe it, like it or not, it is a fact. And whether you think, like it, believe it or not, there is a way that people are being manipulated through music, through certain genres, not to be specific, because I know I might probably get criticized, but there's specific genres of music that just aren't uplifting. How do you explain yourself that after Michael Jackson and after Queen, why did the music change? Why aren't those type of artists famous anymore? Why is the vocabulary in the music that is viral today not about peace, love, and happiness? Why? I don't know. Well, I think I know, but I'm not going to say it. But what happened? Why are the artists that we see today getting involved in and you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. In court recently for like some really weird and violent and crazy stuff. Like is that an example of a human being for society, for a young kid to listen to his music? What does his music talk about anyway? What is he promoting? The videos. What are they doing in those videos? And yes, it's all real. All those groups and all those elite, that is all real. That's where I'm going. That's how you can start changing the avatar you are, by not doing what the fucking masses are doing. And I get a little bit emotional because it's insulting. It's sad. It's sickening. It's like that's what makes me not want to be here. That this world is like that. But you know what? We can make it a better place. We can make it a better place by knowing this and choosing to be us, authentic, unique. What music are you listening to? Why? Why are you listening to that music? Really, ask yourself, okay, I like the rhythm, I like the vibe. Okay, but, but, there's 1,000 of artists making the same vibes and the same rhythms. Try it. Really focus. Make the effort to change the music you're listening to better, more positive, healing music. I seriously stopped 100% of listening to a lot of music. And if I hear it around, because maybe I'm in a supermarket or I'm in an Uber or I'm whatever, riding, whatever, getting somewhere, if I'm at a public space, I just try not to even listen, pay attention to what it is. Anyway, the music, we are 80% water. The molecule of water gets programmed, so we're gonna feel the music. Our subconscious is gonna understand to a deeper degree and level what the lyrics mean and what the sounds are, and that might be holding us down. And it goes with everything. Who do I talk to? Who are your friends? How are they talking to you? How do they express themselves about themselves? Do you have somebody that's always telling you like, man, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I fucked that. Boy, I used to have a friend. He would just never stop complaining about how he hated what he was doing. And it got to a point where I started hating myself. And I was like angry. And that gets you sick. So you really want to work on the external sources of information if you are hitting this wall and you can't be a profitable trader. If you have done it all, if you know what you're doing, if there is a time in which you need to work, and there always is a time to work on your avatar. And as you make 2 steps forward, as you change the music you listen to, as you stop hanging out with that pessimistic friend, then you make a step forward in your trader mindset. You become more relaxed. I'm going to explain it to you. You will become more relaxed and more calm because you will have changed the state of vibration of your own mind and body. You're not going to be so fast-paced. You're not going to probably be so angry, and you don't even know why you're angry. Well, it turns out you're fucking listening to hip-hop talking about killing people and drugs and shit. So no wonder why you're getting this vibe of like you want to go rip somebody's head off because like you're boom 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 and like you're fucking vibing with this like weird ass fucking gangster wannabe. I'm sorry, but I had to throw it out there. All right. So I used to listen to Eminem. I love his lyrics, but even that is like he fell into the well, whatever. He's cool. I think he's very awake of what but he had no options. Like what do you do when that's the life you get? Okay, so you're changing yourself to be a bit more relaxed, to be more calm, and then you'll make better decisions as a trader. Any questions, by the way? I'm sorry that I'm kind of going with nonstop, but if you have any questions or turning profitable. There's one more little thing I want to talk about before going into the charts, just to finish, because I honestly didn't want to make this to about charts. I wanted to talk about something different. But there's one last thing that I want to talk about avatar mindset into. How do you define yesterday's low is based on full day candles or session structure? Yesterday's low. You mean this one, right? So here it is. Remember I mentioned in the for answering your question, I said what time is it in New York? Where is New York in terms of the structure of the market, right? So I'm going to pull the sessions indicator here. Go to the 15-minute time frame. And the day started up here, trading down, trading down, trading down. Asia started dumping. London starts coming down. And as price was coming down, we have these equal lows, relative equal lows, because there's a little wick that's just below that one, but that's basically an equal low. When you have equal lows like that, that's called engineered liquidity. Okay, those equal lows, when you have this, that is engineered liquidity, and it's a magnet for the market in the future. So what happens is in the future, the market can get there. It doesn't mean it's going to reverse like it happened. It could continue, but it's going to get there. The job is to see how does the area below it behave. What does price do when it's below lows, below previous lows, whether they're equal or not? I mean higher time frame lows, a previous daily low, a weekly low, whatever. I want to see how price behaves under that, and how does the low that is being taken out, how does it what paper does it play in the future when it breaks? Okay, so I'm gonna mark this in another color so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so after price is below those lows, I want to see how that range behaves. In other words, if that range starts fighting price and I see price trying to come up and then fight down and then come up and then fight down a little bit, then it's evident that it is a resistance. And it's likely for it not to go back up, but actually continue. However, if I see price that stopped and it's trying to come down and it fails, it's trying to come down and it fails, and then it starts closing back above those lows, then I'm saying, okay, there's a possibility for a reversal to come back, and that to be a manipulation. And it has to happen. That has to happen because that is how liquidity gets built. As people sell, they're placing stop loss orders up here, right? Because they're thinking, oh, this is going to be a resistance. I'm going to start selling. And where they put their stop loss? Well, somewhere above, up to where they can, because they don't have millions to say, I'm just going to risk it for the biscuit. I don't care how much money, So retail, they put their stop loss very near because they just don't have that much money to risk. So all of this area of the price of how it went down starts getting liquidity. There starts to be orders being built. Now, it doesn't mean that institutions see that and say, oh, Bob and Jana and all these 100,000 people sold, so let's buy it now because then we're going to get them out. No, that's not what happens. What happens is the algorithms rush below those lows, and institutions then say, okay, thank you, I'm going to fucking buy it now because it's cheaper and it's trick. What happens is that people fall into this because they don't know when to enter the market, and they enter differently, and that's how people lose money eventually. But that's the thing. Like you want to figure out how to do it better. So going back to the example, the minute we saw price close back, look at that candle. You see? Look at the time. It's 8:45 in the morning. So New York opened and it sold quickly, and then it started reversing back up here. Look at the time. It's 10 in the morning. 10 in the morning is very important for New York. Okay? If this candle at 10 in the morning was bearish, then obviously this was a area that held as a resistance. And so there you could have expected a further drop to the downside. But because from 9:30, which is here, 9:30, because 9:30 did not trade below the candles, below the bodies of these candles. This is a 15-minute time frame. I'm going to go to the 5-minute time frame because the 5-minute time frame is powerful. Look at something. Look at this wick. Look at that wick right there. And look how that next candle at 9:10 respects it perfectly. You see that? That is not a coincidence. That is not human beings deciding to buy there. That is algorithmic, and that is a footprint, an algorithmic footprint. That is a technical level, and price is showing to be support. And therefore there is probability for it to go higher, and much higher because we are below lows, and the market has all this room to go back up because New York is is just too low. It's at 3,310. You think they're going to sell it? It's not a business for them to sell it there. They want to buy it first. Or the other way around. The business is not to sell it, it's actually to buy it because it's so cheap. So, and why do they want to do that? Well, because London has been selling, Asia has been selling, and it's a war out there. It's like, are we going to let these motherfuckers win the money down and just we give them the profit? Fuck no. We're going to reverse this shit, take them out, and trick everybody, and then we're going to get the money. That's basically a way of saying it. But it's that's like a movie type of thing, but it is true. Like, you know, if I was in a bank and I had $10 million or more, and I'm like, and I see this, like, dude, fucking buy it. But anyway, moving on, 5 minute time frames. Look at this. Look at the behavior, the anatomy of these candles. The bodies are now holding previous highs as support right there. And as those bodies close back above the bodies, look at the wicks and look how they're behaving. So that is what yesterday I was able to identify, and I sent the signal to the group, and I also caught that trade because that's the probability that we had. Okay. 10 in the morning, 9:50. 10 o'clock. Straight up. 10:05. Closed back above these lows. And not only that, here we have officially a break of structure to the upside. Right? We have these highs, this candle closing above the bodies of these. That's not enough. I want to see that. So this candle is a nice one, 1025, because it closes above this wick with strong candle with a strong body. So obviously the move is from down over here, and it's a bit scary to say, well, let's buy it, but you can trust yourself when you see these sort of things, especially this. Like when you see price respect that in such perfect ways, you can trust your instinct and say this might, like, trust the fact that it's going to go up a little, at least up to the support area, right? You could take a quick scalp trade there. Easy to say now because it's there, but you'll get it. It's not scary if you risk less. Yeah, of course. Yeah. If you're not risking much, of course you buy there, micro lot or a mini lot, 30 pips or 300 points. It won't be more than $100. All right, we have officially reached 1 hour of this live, and I want to conclude the main topic of our conversation today, which is how do I turn profitable, or what are the things that are potentially preventing me from becoming and reaching the profitable state. And to sort of give you a last message, beware and just know that in order to become a better trader, it's not necessarily learning more about trading or watching more hours price or watching more videos or trading more or risking less or back testing more. That it gets to a point where that has nothing to do with being profitable and or a sustainable, long run sustainable, successful trader. If you're stuck, your answers and your solutions are here in this side of life, in your avatar. Especially and most importantly, in the external sources of information that you are allowing into your brain that are making you who you are. And we haven't talked about the internal, which are beliefs and ideas, but that is another topic that I honestly don't have time to get into, and because it's already 1 hour and I don't like to make these lives so long. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you know you are powerful. You are the creator. You are capable of reaching any goal you set your mind to. And you don't need nobody to tell you what to do. Nobody, nothing can stop you but you. So I wish you all the success in the world, abundance, and grateful for you. Grateful, 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 grateful. If you don't have any questions, I will be gone. Matthews, Jaina, OS, Chubaquito. Life is repeating. Work is always the same. So is the chart. Interesting. I mean, um, your work is always the same. Do you mean like the process of trading? Like that's the same? There's a system and you repeat it? The chart is the same, yes. I mean, the algorithms are what they are. Worldwide. You're welcome. You're welcome. Take care. These patterns, yes, the patterns are there because it's algorithmic. Let's say you work in a factory. Yeah, I get your point now. Appreciate it, worldwide. Yeah, he's talking about the blueprint. If you don't know, it's a little book I wrote and it's about the systems I use, and it's just the first edition, but there's a workout routine and there's a little short guide on how to start reprogramming your mind. So I'm glad you got it, worldwide. That's a cool name, right? Worldwide. What's your name? Worldwide. Here comes worldwide. Um. All right, guys. Nico. Nice, Nico. Appreciate the feedback, brother. Who? Blueprint 2. Uh, I'll probably take a couple of months. A couple of months because I want to further like develop further into the scenarios and I think be more specific and have more time to backtest each scenario and continue to even create different ones. I've also been reading a lot about algorithmic trading, and I've try to really figure out more and more how the different algorithms are employed to do specific things. And so there comes a time in which there is an algorithm, then there's another algorithm that does something else. So the blueprint is gonna be a life work. I'm gonna continue to make it better and better and better. So yes, engulfing the 15-minute candle, the 15-minute time frame is very powerful. Stick to a 15-minute time frame. It'll be nice. All right, people. Take care. Thank you for being till the end. I love you all, and I wish you all the best. Till next time.